at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
News time is 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Tuesday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. A new Clinton Lake Marina owner is operating as the official sale of the marina continues to play out. DeWitt County Board Chair Dan Matthews indicates the new ownership group is operating on a short-term lease agreement while the sale of the marina gets finalized. Matthews indicates the sale last month was pushed back a week to give county board members a chance to thoroughly review the agreement.
To the full board at the May meeting, and there was still a few questions left, so there was no need to rush into. A couple of members had just received the purchase agreement the night before, and so really I wasn't going to call a vote, or any of us call a vote on something that a board member felt they didn't have time to review it and understand everything, get their questions answered. So we moved that to the following week, which was last Thursday now. So that did get approved by the full board. And then we also approved a short-term lease agreement so that the new owner, the buyer, Sullivan Marina, which will now be Clinton Marina and Campground LLC, could go ahead and get out there and start selling gas and looking at the property and seeing what repairs and things need to be, made as we get ready to, Memorial Day kind of kicked off the summer season at boating. And so a lot of people have their boats out there now compared to just a couple of weeks ago.
According to Matthews, things at the marina are moving fast. The owner has been fielding questions from renters regarding fees and other matters. He anticipates some improvements to be made out there as well.
We had a quick meeting out there, the Marina Committee, just to see what was going on out there and see how we could, what other information we needed to get to the new owner. So that was approved. They're out there now. They have their own Facebook page. They've been posting their hours. They're out there every day. And so people can now start getting more answers. There's been a lot of people asking about, transient boat rentals, which there's about 14 spots out there that people can rent for, a day or two over the weekend. I think maybe up to a week. The new owner can obviously decide however they want to do those type of rentals. There's people wanting to put dry land storage boats out there. So we wanted to get that turned over as quickly as we could. Mm-hmm. So that all came about after last Thursday's meeting. So, I know there's been a lot of people stopping in and to meet them, and going to have staff member out there full time, living out there, so that around the clock they'll have support for any issues that come up, just like we did before. There's a couple apartments up above the main building, and I don't know all the renovations, but the owner last night was speaking to some boaters about a major renovation coming to the building here shortly. So they're ready to get moving along and start bringing, a lot of new things to the marina, amenities for the slip renters and boat rentals, boat sales, things like that, the reason we chose to sell the marina, and so they could get it moving along.
The closing of the sale of the marina should happen in short order. The sale itself, though, came under scrutiny by the county board in May due to an issue on slip rental fees, which Matthews discussed recently.
That was a question that the committee talked about well back in December. Do we collect rents? Do we wait for a new owner? Well, not knowing if the marina was going to be sold or not, we said, let's go ahead and collect the slip renters because their agreements run out the end of February. So let's keep those in place so people didn't have to move their boats, so that people had continuous agreements, and those would be prorated if we sold the marina. If we didn't sell the marina, then they would go to, if the county decided they were going to run it, they'd already be collected, the agreements would be in place. So it's just trying to make a smooth transition whether the marina was sold or not. The only thing that the special meeting was simply to approve the purchase agreement and then to approve the short-term lease. There was no other agenda items on there for last Thursday. So now we anticipate, the closing sometime in the next 30 days, probably less. The final closing after the agreement had to be signed first to get the final loan information and all that, like you would on any other purchase. So
okay.
I would think it'd be finalized probably in the next 30 days or shorter.
Matthews recently announced he will withdraw his name from the November ballot for re-election on the county board. The first year is in the books for Clinton's first-year elementary principal, Jessica Patrick. At Lincoln and Douglas Elementary Schools this year, Patrick was focused on community engagement and getting to know the families of the district.
I think for me, it was a lot of focus on family engagement. Mm-hmm. So once again, just getting to know the families, having them come in the buildings. Our family engagement nights, I think, were a huge success. Mm-hmm. It was so much fun to see the parents having kids or fun right alongside their kids. Mm-hmm. We were able to pass out books and math kits. So just anything that we can do to strengthen that homeschool alignment. Mm-hmm. I'm all about it. I feel like there's always so many layers, and I feel like I'll plan to be here for a long, long time, and I feel like you always continue to learn about your community, just the resources that are here, the ways that people are willing to help one another. It's just been truly amazing. I've gone to the table with ideas for different things, like our family nights or camp kindergarten, and everyone comes to me with, we could talk to this person, and I'm sure they could help out with this, and everyone just seems so willing to help.
Mrs. Patrick introduced a new program this year called Camp Kindergarten, and on the WHOW Morning Show Monday told Regional Radio she thought it went very well.
I think Camp Kindergarten was probably the crowning achievement for all of us for the school year, because it was really a culmination of everybody coming together, and that's been the focus for this year, was pulling our two buildings together. Better together was our theme. So Camp Kindergarten was mid-April, and that was definitely the highlight, to really see everyone working together. It didn't matter what grade level teachers taught. Everyone was participating in some way, shape, or form. It really was the epitome of like all hands on deck. Everyone had a role. They played it. They helped however they could. We ended up having about 60 new kindergartners coming through. So these will be kindergartners coming in August.
Right.
But this gave them the opportunity to get inside the school buildings, meet a lot of the teachers, visit the kindergarten classrooms. It gave our teachers an opportunity just to see where some of their skills were at.
Right.
And then while they were doing that, I was talking with families and just giving them some ideas of, here's what the school day will look like for your kindergarten in August. And here are some ways that you can help strengthen what we're doing at school by aligning it at home. It was just a great opportunity all around for everybody involved. Well, that day we had about 60 come through, but since then we've had community members reach out and say that they couldn't come. So they've come in to do separate screenings. We've partnered with other private preschools in the area. So since then we've seen about 90 kids come through. And for a kindergarten class total between both buildings, that's about 110, 120. That's almost our entire kindergarten class that we've already laid eyes on. We've already met, started building those relationships. So that's huge. As far as expectations, I try to keep it pretty manageable. Something brand new for our buildings. I didn't want staff to be disappointed if we didn't have a huge turnout, but I think we were all blown away with the turnout and how well it was received. And time again, I'm proved that we can plan things, and Clinton shows up.
To wrap up the school year, Mrs. Patrick says they were able to partner with the Clinton Community Education Foundation for Read Across Clinton for the book distribution. She also notes they were able to secure a grant to give kids access to more books this summer.
We were super grateful to have Read Across Clinton. Anytime that we can get books in their hands is huge. Building their home libraries is super important. There's book ownership and letting them pick the books out that they pick. So each student was able to get a couple books from Read Across Clinton, and then we just kind of added to that with some of our grant funds, and most of our kids were able to take home 7 or 8 books that they were able to pick out.
Nice.
I tried to find a mixture of fiction, nonfiction books. The nonfiction books are always super popular. They love looking at pictures of animals and things like that. And then they all have a reading journal that they took home. So I told them if they want to complete the reading journal and bring it back to me in August, or for our first going to second, take it to CES, they'll get it to me, and we'll pick out a few kiddos to win a gift card at Sweet Maze.
On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Patrick also emphasized emphasized the importance of reading over the summer for the kids in her building and those coming in. She also discussed what parents can do to prepare kids for school this fall. We'll hear more from Mrs. Patrick on that in the weeks ahead on Regional Radio. Illinois finally had a week of below normal rainfall, allowing farmers to nearly finish planting. State crop statistician Mark Schleusner indicates temperatures were also above normal for the week, allowing for nearly 5 days suitable for field work.
Temperatures were above normal, but rainfall was below normal last week in Illinois. Temperatures averaged 71.6 degrees across the state, and that was 2.4 degrees above normal. Rainfall averaged 2/3 of an inch, and that was 1/4 inch below normal. Northern parts of Illinois had above average rainfall, but the rest of the prairie state was drier than normal. There were 4.7 days suitable for fieldwork around the state last week, and topsoil moisture declined to be rated 10% short, 72 adequate, and 18% surplus.
Soybean planting is moving along. Schleusner indicates the condition of the crop is better than a year ago and is 87% finished, moving ahead of the yearly average.
Soybean planting advanced by 6 points and reached 87% finished compared to 84 normally. 69% of soybean acres have emerged compared to 71 for the 5-year average. Soybean condition ratings improved and were rated 4% poor, 27 fair, 56 good, and 13% excellent. That is better than 1 year ago.
Corn planting is nearly complete. Schleusner notes the corn planting progress has also now outpaced the yearly average.
Corn planting reached 93% finished. That compares to 92 for the 5-year average. 87% of corn acres have emerged, and that is 2 points ahead of normal pace. Corn conditions improved slightly and were rated 4% poor, 22 fair, 56 good, and 18% excellent. That is also better than 1 year ago.
Pasture conditions improved from a year ago, and alfalfa hay is 72% finished. It's an important milestone for the 4-H Memorial Camp in Monticello. The site is celebrating its 75th anniversary this summer, says camp director Andy Davis.
So back in 1946, Robert Allerton decided to make a great big donation to the University of Illinois of what's now Allerton Park and 4-H Memorial Camp. And he donated 250 acres to be used as a youth camp. And 4-H got involved right away. And they actually started camping out here in 1948 in tents. They had a little shelter as they were getting the property kind of put together and developed, all via donations from 4-Hers and folks around the state. And in 1950, they did an official dedication on our dining hall and the rest of the facility. And 4-H Memorial Camp is here in memory of 4-H members who died in World War II. So that's why we're here. That's why we're called Memorial Camp. And we're getting ready. We're prepping up for a 75-year anniversary for next year. We're still in the planning process for that, but we're pretty excited about that. We actually did an interview here this winter with one of the ladies who was one of the original campers back in 1948. She still lives here local, and she came in and told us the stories about being in the tents when they blew over during the storms. And we're all these folks are just kind of coming out of the woodwork.
The 4-H Memorial Camp has also made Newsweek's list of America's best summer camps for 2024. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Fiber internet has come to Clinton, thanks to Connexus. That's right, Connexus has brought